Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming to listen. This is a topic kind of near and dear to my heart personally, but also for us as a company, which quick just who we are if you didn't meet with us already. Kind of comprehensive graphics, interior communications, just helping you speak your brand in bigger, more powerful, better ways, right? So, and most of the talks that I saw coming up in this conference, and it was the same thing at Retail Spaces we were just at a couple weeks ago, all we're hearing about is AI and tech and efficiency and all these things, right? So that's kind of why we're here today, right? Is to talk about like what do we do either A, once all that is solved, or B, like how can we put the focus back on experience? Because I think that can be easily forgotten in the mix of tech, right? So quick, like what are we here for today? I will have a quick word on technology. I'm not anti-tech. I'm just saying that maybe it's not everything. And then to the kind of the good stuff. We have a lot of really fun things that we've been watching that you may have seen in the press that is kind of fun to just like to talk about as brands, right? And how can we kind of use the store as a vehicle now for traffic and brand perception in ways that we didn't think were possible maybe a couple years ago. So a quick word on tech. Again, it's super important. But you know, things that I've seen everywhere coming around, you know, there's robots delivering things, there's robots making things. The picture in the bottom left is actually a picture from the Wendyverse, if any of you have ever joined or participated in that. I don't know how you actually eat a burger in the metaverse, but that is a thing. And it, you know, all this focus on sort of back-end cloud tech efficiency, right? So, and I'll play a quick video, but this is kind of like my fear of if we're only focusing on this, then the restaurant starts to look at like what's in the video that's about to play. It's like, this is kind of cool, but it's like, is that a restaurant though? Actually, I was on Ohio State's campus a couple weeks ago. That's where I live in Columbus, Ohio, and it's kind of madness when these things are all over the campus going, and like cars don't know what to do. But I mean, like this isn't an experience to me, right? So we can cut the video now. But so to plug some stats on like why I think the store is so much more important than it ever was right now. With all the tech efficiencies, delivery, all this stuff that we've been hearing about, customers are still opting, at least some research I found, to pick up their order at the store they're 4 more times likely to pick it up at the store than get delivery. That doesn't mean that delivery is that small. It's a huge number, right? And then some numbers on what they're choosing to do versus curbside versus drive-through versus in-store, which curbside and drive-through are obviously the highest. So what does that mean to me personally? They're still coming to your store, right? So why not give them some type of experience? And that visit is maybe more often than you perceive. We always hear, mobile order, it's a mobile order, it's an online order, it's a phone order, whatever. They're still coming to the store, though, to pick it up. So what do we do with that? I do have some ideas, and I'll show you in a minute. But first, more stats. And this is really, I'm not going to bore you with reading through these, but it's really that young people especially, and even millennials, they spend almost all their time, they get all their inspiration, they get most of their news from social media. And what's like the most hot way to do that now is usually sharing and watching videos, whether it's Reels or TikTok or whatever, right? So that's how they're getting their information. So like, what do we do with that? Like, why not give them something to post about, right? And no longer, you'll see in some of the examples we have on the screen coming up, it's no longer just like the Instagram wall that you plug a selfie with. It's the whole store. The whole store has got to be videoable, right? So do something truly unique. That's what I'm kind of hoping to inspire people to do today. Do something cool, right? So now some examples. I got to give Taco Bell a lot of credit. We've been following them for years. They're kind of like the kings of trial, right? Whether it be something like super cool, like this Hollywood store that's downtown Hollywood, kind of feels like it's in an old movie scene. It's something like they're creating destinations, right? But on top of that, on top of the cool factor, like they're even taking the steps to go out of their way to make pickup cool too. Like the store on the left is their Dash concept, which this one's in Columbus, Georgia, I think. But there's kind of like that cool tacos fade to black graphic on that roll gate. There's the big arch. It's like when you go to the store, you go to the Defy store that's I think in Minnesota. But when you go there, it's like even that's Instagrammable. It's cool. Like you might want to go there again, right? Give the customer experience when you're there. And just to show how that plays out back into social media to plug your brand everywhere, if you could play the next video, this is kind of a fun one I found.
Historic Hollywood, checking out the brand new Taco Bell Cantina. This Taco Bell Cantina was absolutely stunning and made me feel like I was the star of my own Hollywood movie. I ate my cheesy gordita crunch in the corner and waited for someone to discover me. No one did.
So the video didn't play all that great, but she's, you know, tooling around the site and showing off your brand for you, right? It's giving them an experience that they'll take their phone out and not just look at Instagram while they're in your restaurant, but actually film themselves there. Give them a place to do it. Another one, this is more a local strategy story and kind of showing that you don't have to only do these flagship-y type stores. This is Dave's Hot Chicken. Also been following them for years, but they're doing 30, 40, 50 stores a year with custom artwork in every single one. Because they want, when you go to a Dallas Dave's versus a Columbus Dave's versus a SoCal Dave's, it's like it's my Dave's, right? And you could go to one that has the surfer chicken that's like buff as all get out, or you can go to one in, I think the one in the bottom left's in New York, that's more like graffiti style art, right? Just cool stuff that people are doing. Hash Kitchen, another way to do something cool. Yes, the environment's cool, but they totally just like flipped brunch on its head, right? To make a different concept. It's brunch meets nightclub, which kind of sounds fun. Or maybe it's just like the continuation of the party from the night before, who knows? But you know, they're going after pretty high-end finishes, in-your-face graphics, like kind of, I guess, brighter nightclubby scene. They actually have a DJ booth, which is right here in the left-hand side. And again, giving a customer an experience like this at a restaurant allows people to then make a video like the next video, which this is probably my favorite one of all of them. Let it rain. Let me talk to you. Come on. Truly bringing the nightclub to the brunch spot. All right, we can cut a video. Thank you. All right, so next example, and I'm trying to give some, you know, alternate formats, some different ways the customer experiences a brand, right? So drive-through isn't out of that equation either. I just said that drive-through and curbside are the two top ways that people pick up food at store, right? So I actually had the amazing opportunity to talk to Randy Garuti about this very restaurant and their drive-through experience, and what he said to me was, when we have the drive-through, not only, I mean, it's kind of obvious for Shake Shack. They're very architecturally driven to have, you know, these cool structures and, you know, have it match the building and whatnot. But he said that when a car pulls up to a Shake Shack drive-through, I want them to feel like they're part of the party. That's what he calls like the inside of a Shake Shack. It's like going to a party, Madison Square Park driven with their first store of like everybody just congregating to have a good burger, right? So as you can see here, it's very strategically laid out by the patio. You can see inside, it's right next to it. And they do have runners that come out from that patio to take orders when it's busy too. So, I mean, it's just thoughtful stuff like that it doesn't seem like a whole lot maybe, but this is way different than your normal drive-through where you're, you know, driving by a dumpster or something instead, right? Thinking about what the person's seeing in the background and not just the foreground of the menu. And this is just another example of that, where you can see if they don't have the patio, the building is very strategically designed to match this canopy, to match the menu. It feels like you're in the Shake Shack, right? Which is kind of cool. And then last example here, kind of the coup de grace of crazy, if you want to say. If you can have the opportunity to have a celebrity, whether it's a meal deal or something like that, like Cane's wanted to take it and just blow it up and do something way bigger, right? So Post Malone had reached out to them to say, hey, what if I like took over one of your restaurants, right? It's not just like the Travis Scott meal at McDonald's, right? This is a whole store that he wanted to take over. And of course they said, well, why not, right? So this was an existing store, and they wanted to turn everything pink, tattoo art of Post Malone everywhere. He's super into beer pong, so they wanted to create this kind of like pneumatic tube system that goes through and shoots ping pong balls all over the place from one side of the store to the other. Just stuff that's like, it's like unique, right? And this is in Midvale, Utah. I mean, Salt Lake City, that Utah area is destination, right? But maybe Midvale isn't. But now it is, right? And then my favorite room of the whole thing is the Dungeons and Dragons bathroom, right? But just to, again, keep showing, like, if you give someone an experience worthy enough to post a video, then, you know, influencers, whoever, are gonna do that, and they're gonna share your great brand. And in my perspective, that's brand perception that you're getting across the country. It doesn't matter where this store is. It doesn't have to be in every single store. If you have 1,000 stores, you don't have to do this bathroom everywhere, but people are gonna take notice, and your brand, in my eyes, is gonna be perceived a little higher. And then there's some other things that they've been doing in, like, Times Square with Texas Toast chairs, which I love. I wanna go sit on one of those. And, you know, kind of big, larger than life things. So if we wanna play the next 2 videos, there's a couple on that. And just by the way, all these influencers that you see, like, they're hundreds of thousands of followers. These videos, I've strategically picked ones that got, you know, over 50,000 likes or something like that. So it's being viewed, right? Being viewed by people all over the place. Then you can cut to the next one, which the next one is actually from Post Malone's feed. This is him actually opening the store, right? It's like, you can't get this kind of publicity anywhere else, right? And if we're only focusing on tech, that's kind of the moral of my story. Like, are you gonna open yourself up to do something cool like this? I don't know. You can cut that video too. Thank you. So in conclusion, I don't think I've said anything that you don't already know, but it's kind of like a reminder of, you know, tech is great. I love tech. It's a super important part of the guest journey. You have to have it for efficiency's sake, right? Because that's what the customer demands. But a wise man, Chuck D, said to us a couple weeks back at Retail Spaces rather, that we as the business can drive customer behavior. Although we may not believe it, I think the customer is driving us to tech efficiency, but we can drive them back to experiences in my eyes. So the tech stack, efficiency, AI, robots, whatever you want, it's super important. It's just not everything to me. So do something fun, do something cool, and build your brand's perception through the store, an asset you already have, or else like you're seeing somebody else will. So thank you.